Welcome, Nation, to another episode of Rogue Nation. I think we're up to 25 now.
Holy shit!
Holy God! Tonight, as always, I got Kevin to the core.
Yo,
I got the Heel Hunter Joe.
What's up?
Got somebody new tonight. New, first time on the podcast, Sergeant Funko.
hey,
What's up?
And then me, the big man Justin. We've been away for 3 weeks. We've all had things to do and places to be and stuff like that.
that damn hurricane.
It's not that we didn't care. It's just that we just didn't want to do it. So tonight,
I'd say it was more of a conflicting schedule.
yeah, that's more than anything. It's just you had stuff to do. Some other people had stuff to do. It just was easier just to wait until we could all be together. And still, we're one man short because Just George is not here.
Yeah,
Again.
that's not a short joke. It might be though.
I don't know. So tonight, I think tonight we're going to devote mostly to comics because we've been kind of stocking up and reading.
Yeah, I've read a lot of bad shit.
Everything I read last week was great.
A lot of DC shit?
No, a lot of the bad stuff has been actually Marvel.
Oh, okay.
We did promise last episode that we were going to talk a little bit more about the Disney Parks D23 thing, but to be honest with you, I did no preparation for it because I was just so happy to get back together. So we're going to do that next week.
Cool.
This week, we're just going to kind of devote to catching up and seeing where we leave off, and then next week we should be back to like a normal format because right now we're just kind of all in the weeds. I don't really have any news as far as comics go tonight. I know the J.J. Abrams Spider-Man launches today, which...
Yeah, so far with mixed reviews.
Yeah,
Some people love it, some people hate it.
I know there's a cover that Funko and I both liked that was the only reason that I was going to buy one was if I could get the cover. It's just his eye with like a spider in the middle of it.
Cool.
It looks like it's a nice die-cut Chip Kid cover.
I know a popular one is the Mary Jane cover.
Yeah. Well, supposedly there's a new Spider-Man introduced, too. Or going to be, anyway. But as far as news goes, I don't really have anything. I don't know if you read anything.
Oh, the whole news that I had broken... I can't remember if it was the previous episode about the whole Matt Rosenberg doing the Annihilation Scourge.
Mm-hmm.
Today it was confirmed that it is a brand new Marvel event coming between late November and through December. That it will be a ton of interconnecting one-shots. So It's Annihilation Scourge, Annihilation Scourge, Silver Surfer, Fantastic Four, Beta Ray Bill, Nova, and then I believe it ends with Annihilation Scourge Omega. Because the first one's Annihilation Scourge Alpha.
Yeah.
And then they're saying that Annihilus is not the only big bad.
Oh, alright.
But then who else is on it? Black Star is on it, which might be that beast-like looking character that I thought was Ahab, X-Men character. And then Matt Rosenberg confirms that the Nova in the event will be Richard Rider, which is dope. You know, I'm a fan of Richard Rider. Yeah, I think that's cool because I'm always a fan of the cosmic stuff, and it will interconnect with Guardians.
Yeah, I heard that,
which is cool.
Yeah, so Donny Cates should have something to do with it.
Yeah, which to me the odd ones are the Fantastic Four. Like, why would the Fantastic Four interweave with that? But like to me, since I've been reading and really liking the Dan Slott run so far, I'm okay with that.
I think Reed was one of the first ones to discover the universe that
Annihilus is right, the
negative zone.
Right.
So I think that's probably how they interweave them into it. Are you still reading Fantastic Four?
Yeah, I'm still enjoying it. It's funny how it's become like fun, family-friendly sci-fi, and then just like family drama, comedy. But like, and then now it's delved into like them revisiting their back history, which for me, since I've never read Fantastic Four, I've only read them in like Hickman's like New Avengers run, which was just Reed because he was a part of like the Illuminati and the New Avengers, and so then reading them now of like this, you know, family oriented sci-fi twist And then now that, like I said, like they're revisiting their like history, their origins, and most recently, Reed and Johnny recreated the rocket that they got their powers from.
Oh, okay.
So they recreated it to then go do the manned mission that they originally intended, which was, I believe, was just go to the moon.
Oh.
No, they were researching cosmic waves.
Okay, so that's what it was. And apparently it will bring about maybe a nihilist. That's what's been hinting at.
Maybe.
And then probably bring about their involvement with Annihilation Scourge. So it's cool if they all interconnects.
Yeah.
Well, the only reason why I asked is because War of the Realms kind of ruined me for Fantastic Four. I couldn't get through those issues, and I just dropped the book. I stopped caring.
Yeah, those tie-ins were awful.
Yeah.
Even the Venom one.
The Venom one was alright. Unfortunately, it was
the magical symbiote.
Yeah, but I thought that was kind of neat. But those were written by Donny Cates, though. That's the thing, though.
No, he didn't. He didn't do the tie-ins. Yeah.
Well, the first book I want to tackle tonight is I want to tackle King Thor #1. I've been waiting for this book for a little while.
Did you guys read it, Joe, Sarge? Oh,
no.
Man.
This book was just action-packed from beginning to end.
Relentlessly.
And the thing was, I'm reading this book going, this is just the first issue. Like, in this book, Thor and Loki, like Necro, Loki, and Thor, King Thor throw down hardcore in this book. To the point where it's like the final battle, and you're like, but it's the first issue.
Okay.
It starts with the granddaughters of Thor, the girls, going to the omnipotent city and trying to research why the universe is dying, because this is far in the future. The universe has been dying for a while. Thor has actually reintroduced life on Earth, but the rest of the universe is just dying around it, and they're trying to figure out why. Why?
And where all the gods are.
Yeah, and what happened to all of them. This picks up from Jason Aaron's God of Thunder run, where with Gore, the God Butcher, and God Bomb, where the King Thor... Well, at the end of God Bomb, it's insinuated that Gore loses the Necro Sword, and then it ends up in Ego at a certain point,
right.
To which Ego is tricked out of it by Loki. And Loki gets the Necro Sword is like this all-powerful weapon that kills gods. And it's a weapon that's made from symbiotes, too. So, that ties in as well.
Yeah, so now Loki is like the
Loki,
Necro Butcher? No, Necro God?
Yeah, the Necro God. Yeah. So he shows up on Asgard to have the final battle with Thor. So they go at it.
Like the whole book, they're
just fighting,
stabbing each other. So like every stab, I'm like, fuck, that's it. Like Thor's done or Loki's done.
Well, at one point, and this is at one point, Thor takes the hammer, throws it into the sun, calls it back so that it's white hot, and then beats the hell out of Loki with it. That's not doing anything. Loki stabs Thor in the stomach at a certain point, and he starts losing his entrails. And Thor decides, okay, there's only one way to destroy Loki. He takes his intestines and ties Loki to the hammer and throws the hammer into the sun with Loki tied to him.
It's so brutal. And
it's like, what the fuck? And then Loki goes in with the necro power and then overpowers the sun and kills it.
Yeah.
But the whole thing, if they end up on Earth fighting each other, just going back and forth, and then just as Thor, and it really happens really quickly because the Thor battle and the Thor Loki battle is great, and just as it looks like Loki's going to win, Loki gets stabbed through the chest with the Necro Sword, and you're like, what the fuck just happened? And then the last page is Gore is back.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
And I love what he says. He's like, this is why, like...
I hate all you gods. This is why you all need to be destroyed.
Yeah, squabbling, just two siblings squabbling at the end of at the end of everything, at the end of the universe, and, that's all you guys are doing. He's like, that's why I've hated you all, and you all have to die. And then, to Jess's point, the granddaughters discover the bomb god, the god of bombs.
Yeah.
Who's not become the librarian on the city.
Yeah. And he gives the book because you're like, we're trying to figure out why our grandfather's Thor story is over. He's like, it's not over. It's still being written. As long as there's a god available to write it. And he gives the book to one of the granddaughters and says, you need to finish the story.
Okay.
So
that's cool.
It was cool. To me, it was great.
It was one of the best reads.
I couldn't, as exactly to Justin's point, like, I don't understand, how was this the first issue?
Well, I'm reading it through and I'm like, oh, this is crazy. What's going to happen later? And then once at the end, once they introduce Gore, I realized, oh, this is just like the opening salvo. There's way more coming.
Yeah.
So
I love the title of this book because, of course, I'm a big Amon Amarth fan. The title of the book was Twilight of the Thunder God. And that's one of my favorite albums from Amon Amarth. Viking metal.
Viking metal. There's Viking metal?
Yeah. They are a Swedish melodic death metal band that are Viking themed.
Figure that one out.
It's just that. That's why they just shorten it to just Viking.
We call them the Viking Experience.
Hell, Amon Amarth is Swedish for Mount Doom.
Oh, yeah?
Which is Middle Earth reference.
Lord of the Rings, yeah. So, everybody needs to be reading King Thor, especially if you love Thor.
Especially if you're on that original.
Yeah, if you read that original,
I read that.
The original God of Thunder, Jason Aaron God of Thunder run.
It was great.
This
awesome.
book was amazing. I was so stoked to read this book. And the other book I wanted to talk about, I just wanted to mention it, was Silver Surfer Black. This book has been pretty phenomenal so far. But
so trippy.
Yeah, the artwork in this book, which was by Trad Moore, this book was amazing because at the end of the last book, Ego saves a young Ego because Surfer's been thrown into the past like millions of years, almost to the beginning of the universe.
Holy shit.
And Ego pulls him out of a black hole, and he saves him. But Ego's having a problem. There's something underneath at his core that's hurting him. Ego, the living planet. Mm-hmm. When Surfer digs down through the mantle, gets there, he finds the incubator cube that houses Galactus before he became Galactus. So this book starts off with Surfer getting the cube out of Ego and saving his life. And then Surfer decides, well, I'm going to do something. I'm going to prevent all the deaths that Galactus has caused up until this point, or up until the point when I was created. I'm going to kill Galactus. So he turns the board into a chain and wraps it around the cube, and then he goes to fly off towards the sun because he's going to push the cube into the sun and destroy it. And then,
with his powers, he I can't tell if it's like telepathically connects with the cube in order to see Galen.
Ilato shows up, the Watcher, and he's like, what are you doing? You don't interfere. He's like, yeah, but I'm not the one interfering here. You are. You don't belong here. You're out of time. And he's like, well, I'm going to prevent, you know what's going to happen. I'm going to prevent all the deaths that he's going to cause. It's like, and it was almost like a time loop thing that Iwato was trying to explain to him. Yeah. He's like, you don't understand. Even if you kill him, you're not going to cease to exist. You know, it's trying to kind of explain, like, you'll still exist and you will still be responsible for all those deaths that you did.
Yeah, somehow.
It's just you'll have one more to add to your thing. It's not going to change anything. And he's like, maybe you should connect with your creator and ask him what he thinks, because he has already been at the death of a universe already. He's already seen all this death because he's trying to stop Null, the symbiote god, from coming and destroying everything. And I thought they were going to allude to Null destroyed the last universe that Galen came from.
Right.
That's what I thought they were going to
do. Me too.
So Surfer connects telepathically with the incubating Galactus inside the shell, and Galactus is like totally calm, like, look, I if this is what you feel you need to do it, but give a guy a chance, But he explains to him what he's going to become, and he's like, if that's the way it is, there's got to be a balance in the universe. I mean, that's the way it's got to be. So in the end, he decides to not destroy him and push him off so he could become Galactus in his own rhyme.
Yeah, he actually pushes him near the planet.
The first planet he eats.
Yeah.
Yeah. But by this point, Surfer, his whole arm, and now like his entire upper torso is turning black.
Wow.
Because he's losing the power cosmic. So it's leading more and more into that fallen one era. So what I'm thinking is going to happen is you're going to have this Surfer become the fallen one, but because he was thrown back to the beginning of time, it's going to be a second Surfer that exists as the fallen one in the future. That maybe it's kind of what I'm thinking.
So, like, what would you be predicting of what he's been doing this whole time?
I don't know.
Yeah,
becoming worthy.
Oof! It took him eons.
That's what he said. It took him a long time.
Yeah, he did say that.
I don't know if you know the story, the Thanos Rising, the
Thanos
wins.
Yeah, those ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Silver Surfer is like this, like all black herald.
Where he becomes the fallen one, and to defeat Thanos, he has to spend eons becoming worthy of Mjolnir, so they can fight him.
Crazy! It's such a good story, man.
But I wanted to mention this book. One of the reasons why I mentioned this book is there was a couple of great pictures of Galactus.
Yeah.
In this book that were just really great. There was one splash page. I was like, oh, if I could own that page.
Because it's trippy. It's trippy because and you already know Galactus as a character is trippy as fuck. Because he's just a giant dude with a big helmet.
Mm-hmm.
So that's trippy on top of this guy's art. That's like 70s psychedelic, Grateful Dead type of rock, and it's so cool. It's awesome. And in space, oh man.
The way he draws Ego,
yeah.
The eyes are like moons and stuff.
Yeah, of really just cool. Hovering above the planet.
And like the vegetation on the planet kind of forms really the eyelid type. It's really neat. You read Venom number 18? 17 and 18 were really good.
Yes. And what I was telling you, Justin, and these guys before we were recording, it's interesting how these past two Venom books have been the tie-ins to the Venom event of the Absolute Carnage. Yeah. But Venom is not in these Venom books. So it's just like...
Oh, no, he's not. You're right.
He's not. In the last two, he hasn't because since he's off dealing with Carnage with Spidey, and then just before Carnage, the end of Carnage 2, they get separated. In the Venom books, it's been Dylan, his son, who he doesn't know is his son. He thinks that they're brothers.
Well, no,
he knows off with the Maker.
He knows Dylan's his son. Dylan doesn't know he's
his
father.
Dylan doesn't know. Yeah. Dylan doesn't know.
Norman
Osborn's
grandson, and then the Maker. Which I thought that was, in this one issue, I thought it was really cool when he took his helmet off and they're like, oh my god, your head!
That was 17.
Yeah, he augmented his head.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that's the whole thing about the Maker. He used... The Maker is Reed Richards from the Ultimate Universe, and he became evil. And the way he became evil was he had used his stretching powers to stretch his brain to make it bigger, and became more... he became
smart,
more genius.
Right.
But he also became
more of a
like a sociopath because of it. And he doesn't really care about anything. He just cares about his experiments.
So that's a part of why Dylan and Normie are with the Maker. Eddie left them there. They're like, look, Carnage is looking for everyone who's ever had a symbiote because a little piece of the symbiote is left in all the hosts called the Codex. Normie has it.
He was the Red Goblin.
He was Red Goblin because of Norman Osborn. Mm-hmm. So he's like, okay, I need the Maker. He already has an experiment ready to remove the Codex, hopefully safely, but they don't know that.
They could kill him.
And it might kill him. So that spawns Absolute Carnage, where Carnage is looking for them, and then the first thing is the mission of Venom with Spider-Man is get Norman Osborn as the first test subject. That goes haywire in Absolute Carnage, where he joins Carnage because Carnage gets the jump on them.
Well, yeah, because Cletus Cassidy's personality had overwritten Norman Osborn, so Norman Osborn thought he was Cletus Cassidy.
That's great. It's so far been such a cool horror book. It's been interesting. So then the kids are with the Maker in Venom 17 and 18, trying to keep them safe. They get attacked by another tie-in, which is Separation Anxiety, where the other offsprings of Venom, Phage, Agony, it's not Scream, it's the other one, Lash and Riot, attack a family dealing with like divorce. It's a weird fucking book. I just read that just to see like how does it tie in, and I'm glad it did because in 17 they attack. The symbiotes overwhelm the family's like emotions, where the family just kind of like let them overwhelm them, and it's fucking sad. It's crazy, and it's a mom, a dad, a daughter, and a son. So then the 4 out of 5 offsprings bond with this family of 4 and come attack the kids with the Maker. going after them. So the Maker, like, fight them off, while it's protecting the kids. And he's able to separate their respective symbiotes. But then, they get loose and whatever, and they're fighting. They get saved by another offspring, which I'm not at all familiar with, called Sleeper.
Sleeper, I never heard of him either.
No. Yeah, I never heard of Sleeper. And then in 18, Sleeper explains that his host is a Kree. But it's so old, the Kree body under is dead. Mm-hmm. And he shows the kids, and it's so grotesque. It's just this, like, flesh falling off like a skull with, like, barely any hair.
Well, when Sleeper shows up, saves them, and then... So you're thinking, whoever's inside the Sleeper symbiote is talking to them. And then in 18, you get Sleeper's story, how he had left Earth, he had went looking through the universe for where the symbiotes came from.
Yeah.
He felt drawn to the symbiote planet, and then when he got there, they attacked him because that's where Null was. And he realized the planet was a decoy to get symbiotes to be drawn to it so Null could pull them together. And he's got something called chemokinesis or something, where he can duplicate chemicals from whatever he knows, I guess, or something, and he uses that to escape. But the whole time he's telling the story, you're thinking, whoever's in the symbiote is telling the story. And it's like, well, Dylan finally asks him, he's like, so who are you underneath there? He's like, my host is a Kree, but he died already. And you realize, it's not the guy inside. It's the symbiote itself telling him the story.
Yeah, he's like, I've been in control for a long time now.
How does that happen? I thought the host would have to be alive.
No, because Venom's symbiote has actually existed without him, too. In, like, issue 14 or something, 13 or 14, they separated. Yeah, and then the symbiote followed around to make sure he was okay, but he disguised himself as a man in a trench coat.
And it's been explained in the whole Venom run that they're only stronger with a host. And they're as strong as that host or more. Alone, they're plenty strong, but they're better with a host.
Alone.
Yeah. So then he comes off that body because then Maker starts attacking Sleeper, thinking it's another symbiote attack.
And the thing about Venom that makes Venom separated or different from everybody else is not only is he stronger with Eddie Brock because they've bonded, but he's also absorbed all the abilities from Spider-Man from being connected to being on Spider-Man. Yeah. So he's got all of those spider abilities plus his augmented strength with Eddie Brock. So,
and that rage, they say that like they use Eddie's rage as a weapon.
Mm-hmm. And now the symbiote seems to be okay because the first half of this series was Venom or Eddie coming to terms with the symbiote, basically creating memories for him, making him think that he was dying, that people in his life had been dead, basically changing his memories around. And then dying. How did the symbiote basically die? Because he couldn't talk, couldn't hear it anymore. It still reacted to his emotion and his feelings, but he couldn't hear it in his head anymore. I can't remember. I forgot.
It was after it got connected and then unconnected from the hive.
Yeah. So he thought the symbiote was dead, and then it actually had come off of him and was like a dog for a little while. And then they separated. Once he realized that it had been changing his memories, he separated completely and rejected it. But it still stayed close by. And then it went into War of Realms, where he had to be separated from the symbiote during War of Realms. And then once War of Realms was over, the symbiote came back, and during the beginning of Absolute Carnage.
Yeah, I love how it's explained that the symbiote did that to Eddie because it wanted to stay with him. But he needed Eddie to also want to stay together. So he literally created memories for him to always be alone and afraid and to yearn and need and basically depend on the symbiote.
I was just going to ask why he would do that. Yeah, the motivation. Okay. Huh.
So, like I was alluding to in 18, after the whole thing with Sleeper and Maker attacked Sleeper, even though Sleeper was helping Dylan and Normie, they start not trusting Maker because he starts like not giving a fuck. He's like, whatever, I'm a experiment on Normie no matter what.
Well, he does that, but then he separates all the offspring, the Venom offspring, from their symbiotes and captures them, and puts one of them in the machine. And the dad, he's like, well, we're still safe, right? He's like, yeah, it's totally safe. And then he turns it on, and the guy's like, oh my god, it hurts so much. And Maker's just standing there with a smile on his face, like, they shouldn't be conscious. That's weird.
Yeah, and then it ties into Absolute Carnage 2, where he gets the phone call from Eddie.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
But Sleeper, at a certain point, starts to offer himself to Dylan, like, we're only strong as we could be strong together. But Dylan,
and he starts hinting at. He goes. We feel it in you. You're related.
Yeah. And then when Maker shows up, disrupts the sleeper symbiote and captures it.
Yeah.
And that's where you get the thing where they put the guy in the machine and everything.
So then, I love like Normie and Dylan. They're like, okay, we need to get the fuck out of here. Maker's crazy. And Dylan's like, okay, what would Eddie do?
Something stupid.
And he's like, something stupid. So they get like armed to the teeth with like a bunch of like random fucking guns and grenades. And they're like, all right, like, we're getting out of here. And Maker's like, what the fuck are you gonna do? And they're like, we're not going to fight you. We're just going to keep you busy. And they shoot at the symbiote containers. And then it lets go of the family ones. Yeah. Not Sleeper.
Nice.
And then they all form one giant, like, amalgam symbiote that goes after Dylan.
Which is crazy. That design is cool because it's stretching like Reed, which is essentially Maker. But then with the symbiote, so then he has like claws at the end and like
because it forms
teeth.
on Reed.
It's crazy. It looks like a xenomorph.
Yeah. Well, it forms on the Maker.
Yeah.
Because it combines into one, but it forms on the Maker, so it's controlling him and it's chasing after him. And they decide they need to get Normie. Normie's got a codex, but Dylan is expendable and they want to kill him. But I forgot how the book ended.
It ends with them. They actually push Normie aside. They're like, "Wait, we now know what the host knows, which is Maker, because Maker knows." And he goes, "We want you. You taste like our father, or smell like our father." And then, in just like a split moment, Dylan lashes out like towards the Maker symbiote amalgam. And like something happens in his eyes.
Yeah, I saw that eyes turn black.
And it's like, there it is. And like he does, there it is. And then it's like, what the fuck is happening? And I believe that's how it ends. Oh no, the Avengers come.
Oh, that's right. They get punched out by something, and then by somebody, and then you get the next page. Like, do you mind if we cut in? And it's Captain America, Spider-Man. Forget who else is there, but basically Avengers are there.
Nice.
So
because
I always like when the Avengers show up.
And I like how that's interconnecting with Absolute Carnage 2 because Spidey and Venom separated because Spidey's like, okay, you go deal with all the other people who have codexes who are still alive. And he's like, okay, you want me to go talk to all the killers and criminals? And Peter's like, all right, cool, we're on the same page. I'll go get the Avengers. So it cuts back to this, and it's like, I like how it's interconnecting so far. But it is being written simultaneously by the same writer, Donny Cates.
But the last two issues of Venom have been really, really good page turners. Like, oh, man.
And Absolute Carnage. And like,
I actually enjoyed the Venom more than the Absolute Carnage, to be honest with you.
I'm liking both.
I like the Spider-Mans and Absolute Carnage.
Yeah. I'm liking both a lot. I'm even liking the tie-ins, which again, like, the tie-ins feel so loosely tied in. Up until like, okay, I know what they're talking about there because I've read the tie-in of whatever. So I knew about the family because of separation anxiety. I knew like, how they mentioned like there's a fifth member missing because Scream is separated out of the 5 offspring.
Yeah.
Scream like was revived and then got beat by like another former Scream host. So then she's now on that host now fighting off like some other magical villain for some fucking reason. And then the last one of Scream, she gets defeated and it's finally following the bond with Carnage. So it's like literally all these loose ends are coming all together.
You mean like tie-ins that actually tie into the story?
Yeah, because they get explained later on either in something previously or something afterwards. And it's seeming like you're literally seeing Carnage's army like form and unite because it's all these distant pieces coming together in different parts and then they're all going to like towards something and like there's gonna be some huge climax or something which I'm assuming will end like possibly the finale of Absolute Carnage.
Yeah, probably.
And I can't wait, man. That Ryan Stegman art is fucking amazing. Yeah, that was most of Venom and Absolute Carnage for you guys to catch up. So now we could talk about. Hopefully, you guys both have read House of X.
He's not on House of X.
Bro,
there's a lot of things that I'm not reading.
Fine. What is something you are before we get to that big book?
The only thing that I'm reading is Batman right now. That's the only
How are you liking it? I think right now it's kind of silly.
So
as much as I'm liking it, there's like weird stuff with the beach, and I'm like,
I haven't read 77, 78, and 79.
Oh, okay, that's all the beach stuff.
Okay, yeah. 76 is the last issue that I read, where like a Gotham Girl came in as Robin, and they were like...
Okay, so you saw City of Bane Part 1, and maybe Part 2.
Maybe 2, yeah.
Yeah, because right now it's just this beach stuff, which is like just Bruce being trained on the beach by Selena. Okay. But like it looks like they're just on fucking vacation, and he looks like Burt Reynolds for some fucking reason.
Well, he hasn't got there yet, but he doesn't know what happens, why that's happening.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah. So
okay. Yeah.
I just find it strange. I'm just
all
like
this shit. I didn't know all this was going on.
Of what, Venom?
Yeah, I'm missing all of it.
The Venom is cool.
Venom,
man.
I'm missing the King Thor thing that you guys were talking about in the beginning.
Well, that's only issue 1, so.
Okay.
Yeah, that's his only issue.
What about all this stuff? The Absolute Carnage and the Venom? How far that?
We're only on Absolute Carnage. I think 3 came out today.
Yeah.
Okay.
Venom is only on 18, but I think Absolute Carnage is the best way to jump on.
But are these the ones that are... So I'm talking about Venom now. Are those the ones that are expensive to get now? No?
No, they're regular
I don't think
issues.
so.
Okay.
They're regular issues. The last 2 have only been the tie-ins. 17 and 18 have been the tie-ins.
Gotcha.
Is the rest of it worth it? The 1 through 16?
I think so. I think they're fucking awesome.
And I'm not... I was never really... I actually... When we first started... When Venom first came out, it was when we were on the old podcast. And I was actually against it because I prefer my Venom as a Spider-Man villain, only a Spider-Man villain.
Not an anti-hero.
Yeah, and this kind of really branched him out, and I was like, I don't really like this character. But they got me to read it, and after reading the first couple issues, I was like, no, I see where we're going, but this is actually really interesting. And Donny Cates, whatever he touches, turns to gold.
They're Marvel's best author.
Yeah. Well, him, Jason Aaron, and now with Hickman back, and they've got like a nice stable of writers going.
Yeah, right Charles Soule. I guess now they're slowly adding.
Ed Brisson is really good.
Ed Brisson, hell yeah.
But
Jerry Dungan. Yep,
Jerry Dungan. The thing is, the Venom run has been great, but the Venom run is aside from the God of Thunder run, introduces Null. That
god that you guys were talking about.
Yeah, the symbiote god.
Okay.
So that's like a big hot item right now.
Gotcha.
So like issue 3 of Venom is really expensive because of that introduction. But you can still read it. It's still worth it, the read. It's just once you get later in the book when it starts doing the tie-in with the War of the Realms, it gets written by somebody else and it's not as good. But it's only 2 issues.
Okay.
So.
Man. Yeah, because I don't have time to read that much. But I was seeing that event going on, the War of the Realms. I have no idea what that is.
Any of all these things we talk about here, and everything right now, the books to be reading are these X-Men books.
Okay.
These here. If you're gonna, I thought King Thor was amazing. I thought Silver Surfer Black is amazing. But if I had to recommend one book that everybody should be reading right now, it's House of X and Powers of 10.
Yes.
Because these books are rewriting the X-Men history, and it's fucking phenomenal.
Is it a reboot?
It's more like a retelling.
Right.
I know. I think the way Hickman is tackling X-Men lore is like he's almost like reorienting us.
Yeah, that's a better way of
through
putting it.
His eyes of how to view the X-Men.
I'll give you the basics of it here, just because you haven't been reading it, but this will pretty much kind of explain it to you. So, throughout X-Men history, you've had all the events that have Dark Phoenix.
House of M,
Age
of Apocalypse,
all those big X events that kind of only affect the X-Men.
Yeah.
In the story, in the second issue, not even in the first issue, in the second issue, in Powers of 10, was it Powers of 10 number 1 or House of 10?
I believe it's Powers.
Powers. I think it was Powers.
Okay, it's Powers, House of X number 2. That's where it's introduced.
Okay.
House of X number 2. You remember Moira McTaggart, the
Professor X's girlfriend?
Yeah.
Oh, the alien?
No,
Genesis.
Right, the human.
The one human one that like helped
throughout X history, Moira McTaggart has always been the human that on your island that's always helped Professor Xavier. They dated at one time. Her son was Proteus, and they had to fight Proteus at one point.
Her son with Banshee.
Not with Banshee.
God damn it.
Joseph McTaggart was the father, not Banshee.
But she was with Banshee.
She was with Banshee at one time, yes.
That's how I remember her most of it.
So this book retcons her complete story, and what it does is it turns Moira into a mutant. And what it says is her mutant power is reincarnation. So she lives her entire life, dies, and then goes back to the womb and starts and lives her life over again. but with all the memories she got.
I was just gonna. Oh man, that's crazy.
So it's not actually reincarnation.
Well, that's
she's not being born a new person.
No,
like
she's literally resetting the universe. No, she's literally resetting the universe.
Yeah, she's reliving her life over
again, but with the memories of the previous life.
Yeah, no, I understand that.
So her first life is just her marrying, having a bunch of children, growing old, and dying of old age. Mm-hmm. She gets reborn again as herself. She comes out. She has all of her memories.
Reborn from where?
From her mom. So she goes back to the womb.
She just goes back to the womb.
Is it the same mom?
Yes.
Same
That's
mom.
what I'm saying. Is she's relives the same life again.
She's still Moira. Well, she's still Moira.
But not in the same year.
Same year. That's what I'm saying. She's resetting the universe.
Yeah. If she's born in, they didn't say what year she's born. If she's born in 59, when she dies, she goes back to 1959 and born again.
It's like a groundhog life.
Pretty much.
Yes.
Okay. But she has all her memories. And she could
That's
affect
the perfect. I've not thought of it that way. That's the perfect way to explain it to someone. It's groundhog life.
Holy shit! All the fucking changes because of the memories and the changes and.
So in her second life, she kind of goes. Well, she doesn't go down the same path because she's like, well, once you live a life with somebody and you see, all the excitement's gone. So she didn't marry the same guy.
Yeah.
So she didn't have her kids and everything like that. She met Xavier in her second life, but she wrote him off as like a jerk. So she didn't really do anything. But she saw the mutant. She realized she was a mutant because she's living her life again. Mm-hmm. So she started seeing the mutant persecution and realized she had to do something about it. Her lives have been. She's led. This book is her 10th life. Okay, is the 10th time she's lived her life. Okay. Her lives have been the big events of the X-Men universe.
From her perspective.
Yes. So at one point, she aligns herself with Xavier and lives out her life with Xavier, and that forms a lot of the X-Men storylines in that lifetime. When she's reborn again, she realizes Xavier's way wasn't right. She aligns herself with Magneto. Because she lives out her life with Magneto, that becomes House of M.
Oh, that's crazy.
Crazy. And then when that doesn't work and she's reborn again, she aligns herself with
who the fuck's writing this?
Hickman.
That's amazing. That's such an interesting concept.
She aligns herself with Apocalypse, and that becomes the Age of Apocalypse storyline. Right. And that actually goes the furthest.
Right.
This is just a short, 1 out of 6? Or?
Yes.
Well, it's 2 different books.
Hickman flat out said on Twitter, these 2 companion books are the prologue to the story he's trying to get to.
Holy shit, this is awesome. Right. Just explaining, I haven't read it, obviously.
Right.
It's insane. Dude, it's fucking
Powers
insane.
And House.
So what's the difference between X and...
you have to read both.
Sorry, the Powers and this one.
So
they interconnect.
Yeah, they interconnect. So the whole thing, to Justin's point of the multiple lives, House is present day.
Okay.
Which we've learned is Moira's 10th life.
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe 11th. We're not sure of that yet.
We assume it, because at one point she meets up, she found one of her lives, she found a cure for the mutant gene. And she wasn't going to force it on anybody. She was going to offer it willingly to anybody who wants it. She's attacked by Mystique and Destiny. Destiny and her life become intertwined. And so Destiny will always know where she is and who she is. And she tells her, she's
even
like, look.
When she's reborn,
yes.
She knows she has
because Destiny's always deals with the future.
Yeah.
So she tells her, she's like, if you go down this path, I'll know, and we'll come and get you again. She say, your mutant power, it manifests at 13. If you die before your mutant power manifests, you die. You don't reborn.
Yeah, the universe continues without you.
Yeah. And then she tells her, she's like, I foresee 10 lives for you, maybe 11. And then that's it. So every one of these, and on top of everything else she's done, she has an entire 6th life, which we know nothing about. Yeah. Because at the end of that book, it shows you all of her lifetimes. It does like a grid. The 6th life is completely missing. We have no idea what happened during that life.
And the craziest thing, there's no online theories. No one knows.
Fuck.
Because in one life,
do you know what it is for online, for internet community? Not to have
people
any
usually
theory.
throw out shit.
Yeah.
Nothing. No one knows anything.
Nobody read it.
The whole
That's
book,
amazing.
the whole thing is, the whole impetus is that at a certain point, humans and machines will become one, and machines will take over, like the Sentinels.
Yeah.
And they will destroy mutants completely.
Okay.
And that's what they're trying to prevent, is the complete destruction of mutant kind. So Moira figures this out, and she's trying several different ways to stop the machines from taking over. One life, she decides she's going to kill all the creator of the Sentinels,
Trask.
So she eliminates the entire Trask family.
She becomes an assassin in that lifetime and kills an entire bloodline.
Right. And then, but she realizes that artificial intelligence is kind of, it's not waiting to be created. It's waiting to be born. Right. Yeah. Like it will always happen.
It's like fire. It's always going to be discovered.
It's just a matter of
somebody else to pick up the mantle.
Exactly. Yeah. So she can't destroy them just by killing that bloodline. Yeah. So that didn't work. So that's when she starts aligning herself with different mutants like Xavier, then Magneto, then Apocalypse. The Apocalypse storyline just kind of, because in the Powers of 10, that deals with Year 0, which is before House of X, Year 10, which is House of X, and then Year 100, which is where they're in the 100 years in the future, they're fighting. Nimrod is the head of all the Sentinels, and they're fighting him, and he's trying to destroy them. And then Year 1000, where it seems like mutants and machines have kind of figured out how to coexist, and now they want to ascend beyond
humans and machines.
I'm sorry, but mutants are there too, because the
but they're not mixed with the machines.
Right. They want to ascend beyond this normal plane. So in one of the books, they call the Phalanx down because the Phalanx have figured out how to ascend beyond normal corporeal living. So that it's crazy weird, but it's really good. That's why I say this book is the book everybody should be reading right now.
So the House has 6 issues.
They both do.
They both have 4. They're both at 4.
Well, they're both at 4, but there will be 6.
There will be ending at 6.
Yes.
Is there a particular...
At the end of every book,
it gives you the reading.
It gives you the order you
There we go, okay. The particular order that you should
And then George actually was the one that theorized that it's true. Any of the red ones are supposed to be fucked up amazing issues.
Oh.
That's where something really big happens. Okay. Like in this one, this is the one where you figured out Moira was reliving her life.
Yeah, the first highlighted one is what?
House of X number 2.
House of X number 2.
Yeah, and we have House of X number 5 is the next one.
Hopefully,
which Hickman tweeted out, and
it's going to be the.
He said that it's the first book finally hinting at where he's going.
I don't know. And 4, it's 4 fucked me up. So.
Dude.
And then once
4 fucked me up.
These 2 stories complete,
then it relaunches X-Men.
Yeah.
The running theory for me is that the 11th life, that the maybe 11, what, all of this kind of revolves around Moira being involved with it. My theory is that she's going to realize that she's the catalyst. She has to eliminate herself from the equation. So by not reliving her life again, is going to reintroduce a new era for the X-Men to do what they can do. It's going to open it up and not make their fate finite. And that's where all the X-Men books are going to begin. The dawn of X-Men books are going to begin. That's my theory.
Yeah.
So now that reorientation for you, Sarge.
Yeah.
House of X, the current time, is a whole other new status quo that Justin didn't even have time to get into.
No, I just needed to get you up to date. I mean, that this book. I mean, what they're dealing with now is the humans have created a mother mold, which is more than a master mold. Master mold is a sentinel that creates other sentinels. A mother mold creates other master molds that creates other sentinels.
Okay.
The humans have built one close to the sun, okay, to keep it away from mutants. There's a whole other storyline going on between Xavier, who now looks like this with the helmet on it, with a traveling Cerebro, and Magneto, who have joined forces. And they now live on Krakoa Island, which is the living island. Right. And that's become the mutant nation. And only mutants can go there. And the only way you can get there is the Krakoa's plants form portals, gateways. And only mutants can go through them. Unless if you're human, the only way you can get there is if a mutant goes with you.
Yeah.
There's a mutant language now, Krakoan.
Oh my god.
It speaks to you telepathically.
The internet community already deciphered it.
Yeah. So...
It took 4 issues, but
since we're talking about humans and mutants and stuff, are they letting any of the Inhuman stuff bleed into the story?
No. Completely ignored.
Yeah. This book actually goes so far as interspersed with all the comic stuff is explanations for almost everything. So they explain how humans and machines start to get spliced together, and then how they become certain, and then eventually become pure Sentinel, basically. and there's an explanation for almost everything. There's an explanation for all the phalanx, all the hierarchy of the phalanx, so you understand what phalanx planet is versus a phalanx.
It's different
hierarchy,
versions of different versions of super intelligence.
Yeah.
Right.
So I mean, there's explanations for almost everything. So you got to read from cover to cover. You really got to read everything.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to think that there's probably, because there's a lot of the Krakoan language in here too, that you should probably be reading that as well.
Yeah.
I'm just not.
Yeah, people. Every issue, people now since what was the fourth? Powers 2. Yeah, Powers of 10 2. That's when the internet finally cracked the Krakoan language. So then now, ever since then afterwards, people are literally posting exact translations of when it's appearing randomly in the back. People, all of it right here. And you have no idea what it says.
Holy shit!
And it's all through the book.
That's amazing. You gotta love people, man. They freaking.
It's
nuts.
They find a way.
Yeah.
So Sarge, there's even explanations flat out of the definition of what Omega level means.
Wow.
Yeah.
And lists who is Omega and their allegiance.
Yep.
It's crazy.
One of the things they
Who's gathering all this information?
Hickman. He's done it all.
No, I mean like in the book, because you said there's a list. Whatever.
No,
I'm getting too deep into it.
It's literal infographics for the audience.
It's not. Yeah, it's not like.
Okay, like somebody's collecting a list of knowledge or whatever. Okay.
I mean, you could kind of interpret it as somebody has been, down computing this language. You just don't know what it is.
Yeah, I got it.
It could be maybe Cypher.
Because Cypher, Doug Ramsey, he's going to play a big part in this. He's going to come into it as well.
Because Cypher's the only one that could technically speak or translate any thought or language of Krakoa.
That's Cypher's ability. His main power was he could decipher any language. So they brought him in to decipher Krakoa's language.
Wow, that's a lot.
But like in the future, there's like a whole thing where Sinister had formed birthing pens on Mars to splice mutants together, and there's like a whole hierarchy of those mutants. So like they started out where 2 mutants were spliced together and they both had the same powers, but they got up to like 5 mutants were being able to be spliced together, so they have 5 different abilities. But then there were some outliers that half of the batches became peaceful and pacifistic, so they refused to fight. So I mean, there's things like that are going on in this book that you're just like, wow, there's a lot of research going on into this book. It wasn't just, I got an idea, let me just write it down and figure out what happens. This guy really put a lot of thought into it.
Awesome.
And it's just every book has been consistently like, wow, these last 3 have not been as good as the first bunch we read, but it's not like, I'm not saying these are bad.
Still good.
It's still good.
It's still just a prologue, from my understanding.
Yes.
Yeah, because these aren't even the regular books. This is just getting you into Dawn of X, which is going to be the new X-Men book, the new Excalibur, the New Mutants, all that stuff.
It's
and
insane.
Hickman and Laniel Yu are going to be doing the X-Men book.
Which is all Summers family.
Yeah, like Corsair is on the team.
That's actually another thing of like, it's heavily hinted at that there might be another Summers sibling.
Oh wow.
That they don't know about.
So you got Havoc
besides Vulcan.
Vulcan, and now they're saying there might be another one.
And recently, with what Justin was saying of the year 100, which is that crazy future stuff of batches splicing and Nimrod or whatever, that just came to an end because you finally get to the end of that storyline and you realize that that's the ending of present day. That's the ending of Age of Apocalypse.
Right. That's the ending of Moira's like 8th life.
Right.
Ninth life.
It specifies it's her 9th life.
Because when you see the timelines, when they show you the timelines of her life, some of them end at a certain point and they say this is where she died. And then some of them go a little further and say, oh, she died here, this is what she died of. And then some of them are shorter, but the Age of Apocalypse line just ran off the page. It didn't end, and you didn't know what. You're like, well, where did it go?
And you
what
get
happened?
because she was in the cryostasis as Apocalypse was fighting with mutant kind.
Well, he had
against machines.
Well, he was leading the X-Men.
He was leading X-Men.
He had reformed his horsemen.
Yeah.
So Wolverine
was war.
Oh shit. Okay.
And then Zorn was death.
Right.
Krakoa was one of them, and I forget who.
Polypestilence.
Oh, and
North,
which was that was a splice. It was between White Queen and somebody else.
Magneto, Polaris.
Polaris, yeah. She was one of the horses, but you never really see her. They just refer to her.
Okay.
But the whole thing kind of they were trying to. The whole thing was they were trying to find out where Nimrod came into sentience.
When?
Excuse me. They didn't know when he was born, and they were trying to figure that out. And they had attacked an information facility to find it. Once they found the information, an Apocalypse led the raid to find the information. Once they found the information, a severely fucked up Wolverine had to be transported back to the facility with the information crystal, and then
on Asteroid K.
Yeah.
So you're essentially already seeing the nation of Krakoa failed, because in this future it's separate from the Earth, and mutants are still hated, still separated. So you're like, wow. So what we're seeing in the present day, you're seeing the future failure of it.
Right.
Yeah.
But then now this ending explains it's actually a separate life.
Yeah, because once Wolverine gets back to Asteroid K, you haven't seen her at all up until this point. Moira's in a stasis on the asteroid, and she's got like a Apocalypse has built an interface so that he can just insert the crystal, and she'll have all the information in her head. She'll have the memory, and then she wakes up, and Wolverine's like, "You know what's going to happen next, right?" He's like, "Yeah." He kills her so that she could relive her life again with the info. And that leads to Life 10, which is where they're trying to figure out where Nimrod... Because Nimrod, supposedly... They're hinting at Nimrod's basically the key. If Nimrod becomes born, mutants are doomed. So he's the catalyst. So they're trying to figure out and prevent his birth.
So every time she's reborn, and again, this is just me digging into it because I'm curious. I really want to read this. Does she have to explain that she's not lying?
So some people.
Well, with Xavier, she basically says you have to read my mind.
Right.
And she reads and then every person that she explains it to, she has to do through Xavier, because Xavier basically has to show everybody her mind.
Yeah, my favorite one is when they get to Magneto. And Magneto falls to his knees and he's like, all those lifetimes, all of my failures. Yeah. And it's like, dude, and it's like prime Magneto, hulking purple and red suit, helmet, and he takes it off for Xavier.
Xavier's like, let me show you. And remember, Magneto never takes it off for him. So he's like, alright. And
dude, crazy. And then that's where they shake hands and the panel zooms in on that.
My hands,
and they're like, look, we need to go through this together.
Right.
That's really cool.
So that's hinted at. That's what House of X, present day, it's the timeline of her already sharing the information with everyone and everyone coming together. The last things of what Justin was saying, that the books have been whatever recently, not as great, is diving into other loose threads. So they recently got into Sinister, and they're like, okay, Sinister, we need you to backlog every mutant ever from now on. But Xavier's like, forget we were ever here and we ever had this conversation until I reactivate your memory of this. Right. And that's it. That's how it ends, and you don't understand why.
Yeah.
But the task force too.
Well, but the reason why they do that, though, is because I told you how they had the mother mold.
Right.
They send what is essentially the modern X-Men team, Marvel Girl, Cyclops, Wolverine, all of them, send them to the mother mold to basically destroy it. And in the process, they all die.
Every single one.
One by one. And you see it. So it's not off the page or hinted at. No, they die.
So in these two, in this issue right here, all the X-Men that you've known up until this point, all the ones you fought, dead. All of them. Because in this book, in Powers of X, this is where he goes to Sinister and says, this is why you need to create a backlog, because we need to be able to know who has existed, and I'm assuming to bring him back, to reclone him.
Right.
Because there's one page, and it's actually the start of all this, where it's all the X-Men coming out of cocoons.
Yes.
And you don't know why, and it's the Xavier looking that creepy in that black suit and that helmet, saying, to me, my X-Men. And that page is never referenced again. And it's the only page that does not tell you a time, a place, or a lifetime, or an age. Right,
yeah.
So you don't know where is this at.
It's the very first book. You don't even know about Moira yet at this point.
Yeah. Right. So then now, back to what I was alluding to of internet theories or whatever. Mm-hmm. No one knows anything of the sixth thing or whatever. The main ongoing conspiracy is the explanation of the Sinister thing with the DNA, the cocoons, and the X-Men dying, and all this sums up to all X-Men lore, everything that we've read, all back issues of any death. Why they somehow come back is because of this. Of Sinisters collecting the DNA of all mutant kind, Xavier knowing it but not telling anyone about. They've all been regenerated.
Yep.
And it explains why death doesn't matter because they always come back.
Right.
And that's like the ongoing theory of like the death of of this huge X-Men team. No one's gonna know because they will remember, like Joe said, like it was like a secret mission. No one knew they left. So they could literally show up back on the island, right, and no one's gonna be none the wiser. At least the mother mode would have been destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't know what life. We don't know what life this propels. Or
no. This is supposed to be 10th. Yeah. So for me, the idea is that, and because one of the books starts out with her and Moira and Xavier meeting on a bench. But when you read about her lifetimes in House of X #2, you get all the storylines, and it ends with him and Xavier in her 10th life meeting on that bench. So the idea is this is all her trying. All the 9 lives have led to this 10th one trying again. Okay, so that's why I say that this life is going to. This is where they're going to figure out that she's the catalyst. And that she's got to remove herself from the equation for the mutants to thrive. Her interfering with time is what's making it worse.
Yeah, that's your theory.
I
agree with you. I don't know if we can ever figure out what Hickman is thinking.
And here's the thing: it could go off in a completely different direction, and there's room for that. I'm just making an early interpretation from what I've read, and that to me seems like the most logical thing. Is like, okay, the one constant in all of this story is her. Okay, and it just keeps going to shit. What happens if she's not there?
So, with your theory, if they do accomplish the main things that they want to accomplish, she would need to die before 13, right? So it doesn't repeat itself?
Well, she would, at the end of it, since all the X-Men are dead in this, so it pretty much means that anybody could die. So the idea for me is that she's going to reach the end of this storyline, and Nimrod's going to be born again anyway, and she's going to realize that at this point that she maybe not in this story, but she's going to die, and then when she's reborn again, either she dies before 13, maybe because of her, or maybe because of Destiny realizing that you are the problem.
Got it.
And you need to be removed from the equation.
Got it.
So, because Destiny's already threatened her. In the book, when they found her and she had the mutant cure, and Destiny's like, well, we need to make sure you understand that you cannot do this again. So Pyro was Destiny's son, burns her alive and tells her, make her suffer so she understands not to do this again.
So she remembers.
She remembers.
Yeah. How do you two feel about all of them dying? Like not one member. So
no, but I thought it was very poetic.
The way everyone died was so fucking sad. I cried
with
Nightcrawler and
Logan. Well, you have to
the way that they die.
No, the way that they say goodbye to each other.
Yeah.
And especially being Nightcrawler and Logan.
And not only that, Sarge, it's the way that they go out of, like, they're just two friends talking about, like, what's the afterlife? What's after this?
Well,
and the way Kirk goes about it is like, don't worry, I'll see you there, my friend.
Oh. Yeah, I'll be there waiting for you.
To me, it's beautiful.
That gave me goosebumps. I didn't even read it.
Dude, it's beautiful.
I'll be waiting for you, my friend.
Oh
my God. That's sad. I was like, Jesus.
And Scott watching.
I can't read this anymore.
Mm-hmm. It's actually at this book that
right, 4. It was 4, not 3.
Yeah. This one starts it. This one ends it.
I can't wait to read 5 because Hickman said, like, 5 is the first book that even gives you a shred of evidence of where he's going towards. And I'm like, that's crazy. We're like 6 books in, and now we're gonna get hints at where he's getting to. Yeah. That's insane.
We're 4 books in.
So what's the reason for the separation of the books? Is it the time jumps?
His house is always current day.
Yeah.
Powers is the intertwining of the 4 timelines.
So
We're now understanding that the 4 timelines are different points of different moral lives.
Yeah. Okay.
So year 100 just ended,
which was Age of Apocalypse. So year 10 is this
is House of X.
Okay. Year 0 is them leading up to this book. Okay, year 1000.
The main theory for 1000 is oh my god, what's the main one? Oh my god, that if they succeed, humanity still ascends to the Phalanx. So it's like, then if they do, then if they don't, like whether they succeed or fail, humanity will still ascend.
Well, yes, humanity and machine will always combine. Will always become one. Because they even have terms because in the Year 1000 they actually have cults of people that have bonded themselves with machines to become closer to the machine.
Well, and the art is crazy. You see a baby being digital baptized, and it's like you see like a phalanx, like the black with the yellow streams. Take over like half the body, and it stops. And you see people like grown adults are like half taken like digital form.
It's crazy.
It's strange. It's super.
Now, this could all be an offshoot of the same thing that is overtaking Cable before all this, because his virus was a techno-organic virus that was created by Apocalypse, but the Phalanx were techno-organic. So the idea, it could be like that's where the splicing kind of came from, maybe.
Okay.
Damn, X-Men's amazing.
It's so good.
Like, of all the books we talk about, King Thor, Silver Surfer Black, even Venom, and the Absolute Carnage. If you wanted one book, I would say don't even forget those. Read those later. Read this now, because this book, if once it's over, it's going to be spoiled, and you don't want it to be spoiled. You want to get there with everybody else, because I mean, I'm telling you, like when we got to the end of that second book with Moira, we all were talking like, what the fuck did we just read? Oh my god, that's fucking amazing. And we're all sitting there going, I could have never thought of that. Just the idea of that little tiny retcon explaining everything.
And it was the perfect character. Like, just insignificant enough to make such a huge splash.
And it was so funny because the week before, when we were reading Powers of X #1, even Kevin and Joe, we were all standing here going, how are they going to explain all the X-Men history? All that X-Men history, how are they going to explain all that and fit that all together, fit that in? And then we read the next book and we were just going, motherfucker, you figured it out. Yeah. How did you do that?
My main complaint was like, what? I was like, why? Like, did all of X-Men lore only happen in 10 years?
Yeah.
That's fucking absurd. Yeah. And then it's explained or better off demonstrated as like, it's the 10th moral life.
Right.
Like, fuck, man. That's fucking cool.
Except for the Inhuman War. They haven't touched that.
Yeah, they haven't explained
everything.
They've explained everything. Dude, they've done the House of M. I love like the infographic explaining how like one of the greatest like X-Men villains, and one of them is like the Great Pretender, Scarlet Witch. It's like, damn, it's fucking crazy how she dwindled the population the most. And like they compare her decimation versus like Sentinels, Age of Apocalypse, Magneto, anyone, and she's the main one that has decimated and depowered and destroyed the most mutant lives.
They even go so far as to categorize some of the Omega levels.
Yeah.
Because they categorize Franklin Richards, because Reed's son is a mutant, and he's an Omega level mutant. But his alignment is with humans because of his parents.
Right.
So they even categorize him as, okay, well, he's human, so he's off on his own. Yeah. It's just crazy. It's been such a wild ride.
Even everything that we've just explained to you, Sarge, there's still so much more.
I'm only just giving you the basics to kind of whet your appetite. You really need to dive in.
The basics of just like barely 5 issues.
To put it this way, we've already talked about it. It's like when we're reading the book now, and then there's a hardcover coming with all of it, and it's like we're buying that, and we're going to reread that again, so we can read it all together.
Yeah.
So it's.
I don't know, man. House of X3 is going to be really hard to reread again.
Yeah.
Fuck that mission.
Well, 4.
Yeah.
Was it 3 or 4?
They died in 4.
4.
It starts in 3.
Starts in there and ends in here. Because this is where he goes to Powers of 10. Number 4 is where he goes to Sinister and tells him to catalog everything.
Oof.
So,
and there's a reason why we leave that book last.
Yeah, because we usually spend a lot of time.
Look at that. Well, I think we just spent like 30, 40 minutes explaining it.
Jesus.
But hey, that's more than half the fun of these books.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And like I said, everybody I talk to, I go to the store, and I'm like, are you reading this book? No. Fucking read this book, dude. Get your hands on any copies you can get. Read this book. It's even if you have like a passing interest in the X-Men, even if you don't, just read the book. It's good.
Did you want to do the movie news or?
Before we do the movie news, I just wanted to mention briefly a show I started watching.
I saw that trailer, and I thought it was a horrible trailer because it didn't show me anything. So I'm like, I still don't understand what the show's about.
Which trailer did you see, though? We're talking about Mr. In Between.
Yeah,
what I'm talking about. Well, I'm saying for the
on USA.
No, on FX.
FX, yeah.
The one I saw was where the cops show up at his house and start asking him questions, and all he says is, "I don't answer questions." And they're like, "What about this?" He's like, "I don't answer questions." He just keeps saying it over and over and over again. I don't answer questions.
I didn't see that one.
I
saw the quick cut one.
That's what sold it for me. I was like, I want to see what this is about. So I put it on the Plex, and it's only 6 episodes, and they're half hour each.
Cool.
And I started watching it, and I binged the entire show. I fucking love this show.
What the hell is it about?
It's an Australian TV show, and I mean, it's fucking Australian. And what it is Ray is the main character. He's a hitman and an enforcer, but he's kind of like the hitman enforcer with a heart of gold type character. He doesn't really have any qualms. He explains it in one of the episodes where he's like, he's really big on respect, and you need to show respect. And it's like, 'cause in prison, if you don't respect somebody, you get bashed. Out here, nobody shows any respect because there are no consequences, and I'm a big believer in consequences. So if you don't respect me, then you're going to get the consequences. Otherwise, they just walk all over you.
Okay.
So the show is basically his life, okay? And he's got a daughter, he's divorced, he's dating a new girlfriend, he's got a friend who's a fuck up who he basically kind of takes care of. And you really just watch the show for him. Because he's just infectiously entertaining.
Okay, so he's charming.
Yeah. In the first couple episodes, his friend is a fuck up. Well, actually, in the first episode is called the PP guy. Okay,
what the fuck?
His friend, like I said, who's a fuck up, comes to him and says, "I need a favor. My wife has found porn that I've been watching, and she's freaking out. So I told him it was you. It's your porn. You left it at my house. I need you to come over and apologize to my wife for leaving your porn at my house." And he's like, why would I do that? He's like, because she knows she's going to fucking divorce me if she figures out I'm watching porn. I really need you to help me. Really? And he's like, all right, I'll go do this. Because they're friends. He's like, I'll go do this. He's married to a Russian who just is a ball buster. So he gets there, and she's like, this is the crazy shit you're watching. He finds out it's golden shower porn.
Oh my god!
And he's like, and he just looks at the guy. And he's just like, really, this is what the fuck you brought me into on this? So he's like, yeah, I'm sorry for leaving it here. I apologize. And he's like, this is the crazy shit you like to watch. I can't believe you're into this bullshit. He's like, yeah, I'm sorry. Well, the guy's brother-in-law comes out of the room, who's also Russian. He's like, oh, he's the pee-pee guy. The guy you told me about. Oh, it's him. Okay. So it just he's just completely indifferent to the whole thing. He's just like, whatever. He's like, I don't care. I'm helping a friend out. And then later on, that brother-in-law tries to rob his brother-in-law. So he tells him, I need your help. Come over real quick before the guy leaves. So they end up coming over, shooting him in the head, and they have to cut up the body.
Holy shit.
And when he goes to cut up the body, the guy's not dead. So he goes to cut the arm. He's like, oh my god! He's freaking out. And they go upstairs, and there's like this whole scene. And then the whole scene ends, and Ray's just kind of like, dude, I'm going home. This is your fucking problem. I'm leaving. Bye.
So what that reminds me of, and it's funny because I've been watching it recently as well, Justin, of Barry.
I was just going to say that. How is that show?
It's fucking phenomenal.
It sounds like that.
It sounds like the same.
He's a killer, right? He's a killer that's a stand-up comedian or whatever.
No. But it's more or less the same dark comedic tone, hitman, and it's like indifferent in situations. And I'm like,
because I watched
that's so funny.
I watched the first episode of Barry, and it does. The only thing that's not there is the whole improv class thing. Like in this, he's just a normal. He works at as a an enforcer for this one guy. He doesn't really treat the guy with a whole lot of respect because the guy's kind of a fuck up as well. He's trying to balance his life because he's got a daughter. He's trying to teach. He's also got a brother who's had a stroke, so he's trying to kind of keep him in
so line. It's mostly just like about his life and him just maintaining it.
Yeah, pretty much. He gets kidnapped at one point, and then over the course of 2 episodes, he's like he gets kidnapped at gunpoint. And the 2 episodes kind of reveal how he got away, and it's really funny. All the thing that they stick him in the trunk of the car because he's talking too much, and then while he's in the trunk of the car, they get out of the car to go buy something, and then the episode ends with the car being gone when they come out from buying something. Like, oh my god, he got out of the trunk and he drove off. In the next episode, you find out, no, the car was stolen with him in the trunk.
Oh, that's so fucking funny.
And they take it to a chop shop, and when they get to the chop shop, the guy's like, I'll check it out, you guys go. So the chop guy goes, he opens the trunk, and the guy's like, who the fuck are you? He's like, oh shit! Freaks out, throws the trunk down, drives him out in the middle of nowhere, and just leaves the car. Guy just runs off into the fucking forest like it's nothing. That's
hysterical. Well, to Sarge's point of, because again, like, that sounds like a situation that would happen on Barry, and Barry is similar. 30-minute, like 8 30-minute episodes, 2 seasons. I'm almost done with the second season.
What the fuck? It's already 2.
Yeah, because it's
that behind.
It's quick. It's such a quick watch.
Yeah.
But Sarge, to your point, is he's a hitman, and like he's just been through the shit, and then coincidentally, this target takes him to Los Angeles. Finds his way to an acting class. Amazing. And he gets literally bit by the acting bug.
Amazing.
And it's just like and just from there on, absurdity ensues where he wants to leave behind that life. Yeah. He doesn't want to kill anymore, but in not killing, he keeps getting caught up in situations where the only solution is to kill, and it's just pure fucking lunacy. It's the most absurd shit that can happen because it's still grounded in reality, but does happen. And it's just so fucking absurd. It's comedy, but dark because it's all about death and him. And Bill Hader acts like kind of like the Mr. In Between of like he cares about like acting proper, being polite, and like he wants to just not be an asshole, but he's constantly surrounded by assholes. People that are trying to contract him into killing or threatening his life or someone near him, and he then has to kill. And it's just, to me, it's hysterical, and like you never know where any episode is going. I just recently watched one of the ones that everyone talks about is in season 2, and I don't want to give away too much, but it feels like a one take, and it's just one day, and it's just the most absurd fucking day where he has to reluctantly kill a guy. That's it. And he tells the guy, hey, there's a guy outside, he's my boss, we're not on talking terms right now. And the guy's like, what the fuck? There's a stranger in my house, like, what are you doing? And he's like, okay, I'm here to kill you, I'm not gonna kill you, I don't do that anymore. And like in the previous episode he just killed. Yeah. And he's like, look, pack a bag. Where do you got family? And it's like, Chicago. Okay, go to Chicago, lay low for a year. I'll call you in a year, you can come back. And the guy's like, what? So he's like, okay, go. And so he follows him to the closet, and in the closet, it's a giant like guest room, kind of like here, like Joe's lair, full of martial arts trophies. And he's like, oh fuck. So of course, what happens? The dude tries to defend himself. Yeah. And he's like, look, I'm trying not to kill you. And he's getting his ass beat. He breaks his windpipe. And just again, like the episode rolls into just more and more absurdity. He confronts like a daughter that comes into the house. And he's like, oh shit, he's covered in blood. And he's like, okay, I need to leave. And you hear the daughter scream. He gets back into the car. The boss is like, you have to kill the daughter. He's like, I'm not killing the kid. I just killed the father. And then like the daughter comes out. She's acting like a gargoyle. Climbing a tree. Climbs the house. Attacks Barry. And just both. And that's like the beginning of the episode. Just more mayhem ensues. And the situation just gets more and more out of hand. And that's every episode. But that episode is just, it's the most absurd one. because of that daughter character. And I don't want to say what more happened.
Definitely. I'm planning on watching the show.
It to me is just it's so smartly written, and it's that tone of Mr. In Between. I'm assuming to Justin's point that it's just like this crazy dark comedy, but just absurd situations, and like that of like the guy in the trunk, and then you see what happened. It starts off with like a situation, and then okay, how did Barry get there? Or a situation ends previously. It's like okay, how does Barry now get out of that? One of the craziest things is like an FBI agent discovers it. You know, oh fuck, he killed someone, but then it's like on a shitty camera that's like in Chechnya. So then you literally see like FBI tech guys YouTubing Chechnyan camera tech, and the whole episode is about them trying to figure out how to hack a Chechnyan camera that has the evidence that Bill Hader killed someone. It's so absurd. It's so funny. It's funny, but really fucking dark.
Well, I haven't seen Barry. I want to watch. I watched the first episode. I didn't really go beyond past that. This one's real easy to watch. Like I said, there's only 7 episodes right now. Perfect. 6 of the first season, and the first episode of the second season started.
Cool. So, I want to get on that now. Especially that 30 minutes, and it's such a breeze.
Yeah, and it really just flies by. I mean, and by the end of it, you're just like, okay.
Does Mr. In Between do the same thing with Barry? That every episode, literally the last 5 seconds is the what the fuck moment leading like cliffhanger to the next?
No.
Bro, and it's every time. I started noticing it like episode 6 or so, season 1. I was like, bro, does every episode end this way? And I started clocking it, and it's still happening in the second season. The last 5 seconds, the episode takes a turn that you never expected it to go, and it's down to literally the last 5 to 6 seconds, and it's like what? It's always a what the fuck moment.
Nah, this doesn't have that. This kind of
that's cool.
Each episode is kind of independent in a certain way, but connects in another way. It's kind of hard to explain because it's Australian TV, so it's a completely different way of filming and a completely different way.
You said FX.
And it's on FX, yeah. Cool. But it's on the Plex too. I put it on the Plex.
Good.
But I just wanted to mention it because I just started watching it and I thought I love the show. I think it's fucking great.
Justin, were you able to see NoHo Hank, the character in the first episode of Barry? Yeah, you do. You meet him.
Yeah, was he the
bald guy?
Yeah. He's the only character that I really, really liked on the show when I first watched it. I was like, I'd watch the show more for this guy.
Okay, continue.
Yeah, I want to. I just never went back to it. That's all.
Okay. That situation gets absurd again. they start treating like their mafias like a small startup business, where they're talking about like IKEA furniture, and they have like recreational activity like playing tennis, but then they go like load their guns and go off to like kill up a bunch of people. It's fucking crazy. It's insanity.
I'll watch it. Can we skip to Joker and Suicide Squad?
Yeah, let's do that now to the movie stuff.
Okay. So we got the cast list for Suicide Squad.
It's funny. It's everyone that we said was rumored confirmed.
We just don't know who they're playing. I'm trying to find it now. There it is.
Michael Rooker. Probably gonna play a small role, same as Sean Gunn. You know, brother of James Gunn.
You got David Dastmalchian, John Cena, Jai Courtney. I'm not even going to pronounce that. Nathan Fillion, Joel Kinnaman, Mei Ling Ying, Fula Borg, which I don't know why he's in it. Sean Gunn, Juan Diego Bota, Storm Reed, Pete Davidson, Taika Waititi, Alice Braga, Steve Agee, who we know is playing King Shark.
With that size,
he's a big guy already.
Yeah. Peter Capaldi's going to be in it, the 10th Doctor.
He's rumored to be Simon. P. Simon.
Oh.
The telekinetic villain.
Viola Davis is coming back as Amanda Waller. Idris Elba, who's in a part we don't know yet.
So Margot Robbie might be White Tiger.
So they bring back everybody
God, I hope not.
And more people, and it's not a sequel. It's a reboot.
I love how they call it. This is the Suicide Squad.
They're even going so far as to say Nathan Fillion is going to play Green Lantern.
That's kind of funny.
Well, he is the voice for Green Lantern.
Yeah, he is, but do you really think Green Lantern's going to be in Suicide Squad?
I'm not complaining about the cast. I just know the movie's going to be... Well, it's James Gunn.
It might be fun. It'll still be good. But that cast is fucking insane. No, but it's funny how like the majority of them, you already know they're going to fucking die. And like the first couple.
That's why the cast is so big. So they could kill off more people. That was the whole thing with the first one. There were Suicide Squad. One person dies.
I like this one. This one Reddit comment was like, "We're gonna follow like a mission with one Suicide cast, and like let's say they all die or one gets left behind or whatever. So then we follow the real Suicide Squad that has to go then rescue the original one or the one left behind or whatnot. So I'm like, okay, that's like a funny plot. That it would involve that many fucking people.
Mm-hmm.
I know Joe will watch it. You shake your head, but you know you will.
For free.
Sorry,
coming up.
It's not even filming yet,
right? Yeah,
No,
I'm gonna watch it.
I'll watch it.
I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch Joker just because it's Elseworld, right? It has to be.
Yeah.
Well, we've been having this discussion, getting into the last part of the show with all the praise that show that
I've seen that too.
But the idea that at least we've been going into, or at least I have, is the idea that it doesn't really matter what it is because Joker has no definitive origin anyway.
Yeah, it's multiple.
It changes from however people feel who's writing the book, and that's one of the great things about Joker. You don't know where he came from, so he could literally say anything.
Yeah,
and it's just one interpretation.
I'm just really excited to see Joaquin Phoenix do it.
Well, that's
the main reason.
That's the main consensus. Whether you like it or not, everyone's agreeing he's phenomenal.
Yeah. And they're even trying. I mean, the director and Joaquin both are really trying to distance themselves from the comic too, saying this is just our interpretation of this character. You know, you can't really. We're not even using any. You know, we're not even following that. So don't even try to assume that.
Okay.
Because at one point, they were for like 2 days, they were saying this, Joaquin's Joker is going to be the Joker that goes up against Robert Pattinson, and then they came out and said, no, Joker will never be in a movie with Robert Pattinson. Yeah. To which I say, until the money's right. Until somebody says, I got a lot of green for you, you make that work.
And then Joe gets more mad because they have to explain why the fuck Joker is like 40 years older than Batman.
Exactly. Because in the same fucking movie, Bruce is like 7.
Yeah.
And this.
Yeah.
So he's gonna be fighting a 9-year-old Joker.
Let's not confuse it more. I'm with Sarge of leave this as an Elseworld.
Yeah, that's the only way.
Fuck it.
We say that, but WB's gonna be like, hey, put him in that Batman.
Hopefully not. And Joaquin Phoenix is not the type to do sequels.
That is true. That is very true.
Unless he comes back for that Gladiator sequel.
What is it, dead guy?
I don't know. Russell Crowe. There were rumors that Russell Crowe will be coming back to the Gladiator sequel.
Yeah,
that's been rumored for like a year now.
Oh man,
so it's science. Let's have a science sequel.
So if
Russell Crowe's son,
if Russell Crowe's coming back, is he going to be a fat gladiator? Because he's gained a lot of weight,
dude.
Well, for that show.
Him as Jor-El looked like he ate Krypton.
Well, not even. I mean, even beyond that, with the new guys.
Wow.
Oh yeah, he was barely keeping up with Ryan Gosling.
Jesus. So the Joker movie's getting a lot of praise.
Yeah.
A lot of people are saying. I mean, got standing ovation. It's getting.
What was 8 minutes? 8 minutes of standing ovation.
Fuck out of here. That has to be a huge fucking exaggeration.
Yeah.
Dude, I get tired for clapping like a minute. Fucking 8 minutes.
I sometimes decide when I want to get up.
You gotta remember.
Yeah.
You gotta remember these are foreign audiences. Who knows how they? It's not
right.
American audience gets tired if the popcorn's
right.
bad.
And the way I heard it explained, like on like Collider, Movie Talk and stuff, but like these are like film festivals. Like, it's a different like audience. Like they're there for this kind of shit.
Yeah, and the other thing you gotta remember too is here. I've been to the movie. A lot of people that sit there when people clap at the end of movies. They go, "Why are you clapping?" They can't hear you. So at the end of this movie, I'm like, why would you bother?
Well, the difference is they would be in the crowd.
Well,
Todd Phillips would be there.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And I believe Joaquin was with them.
he was there.
Yeah,
that would make sense.
So, I mean, every time they advertise this movie, I mean, they're already saying Oscar for Joaquin. They're already saying, I mean, the only thing that would really make it poetic is if this movie comes out and fucking bombs. I mean, just like the American audiences get a hold of it and go, "What did they watch?"
Is this?
If let's say it's bad, I think it just means it won't have legs. But I think it's making.
It's going to be
because it has the cultural zeitgeist is like interest. Everyone's talking about it. Everyone is intrigued of what is this movie.
No matter what, it's going to have a cult following.
Yeah.
No matter what. Yeah. Even if the movie bombs and has no legs and everything like that, you're still going to have that small group of people that are going to go, no, you don't have no idea what you're watching. This movie is amazing. I mean, the movie Toys has that group of people. I mean, have you ever seen the movie Toys? Watch the movie Toys and see how far you can get into it. That movie is really, really bad. It's a Robin Williams movie. I mean, and it's him at his most existential. But there are people out there that sit there. I've talked to a bunch of people who's like, it's like the first movie I ever walked out of. That's how bad they didn't like the movie. But there are a large group of people out there that go, no, you just don't understand the movie. That movie is amazing. That movie is just a poetic, genius film. And I'm like, what movie are you watching?
That Room feeling? Is that what Toys is?
Like so bad it's fun.
Is it Indiana Jones 4, man?
Oh, God.
I walked out of that movie.
Jesus, I walked out of that with my now fiance back when we were just friends.
That's what I think I'm
it was. But it's not the same kind of like love, I guess, right? The Room and then Toys. How The Room became this cult freaking movie.
It's loved in the way that people. I know you've dealt with people like this before. You ever dealt with a person who like gets something and you have no idea where they're coming from?
Yes.
Like you can't understand how their mind can actually form the thought, I like this for that specific thing, but they will sit there and
Eric and Bet Nipples. And
they will sit there and tell you all day long that you just don't get it. Mm-hmm. That's kind of the situation with the Toys movie. Okay. Like you watch the Toys movie and it looks like a movie that they just were like, we have a problem here, just throw more money at it. You know, they just threw all, and it's all on the screen. All the money, it's all on it. You'd probably dig it because there's a lot of beautiful cinematography.
God damn it, Justin.
There's a lot of beautiful cinematography in the movie. It's just a terrible movie.
So it's like a Transformer movie. A lot of money, but
no, because at least in the Transformer
following people,
but a Transformer movie, at least with a Transformer movie, you can turn your brain off and still kind of go.
I don't know, bro. To me, it's pretty bad.
Yeah, but this movie, if your brain is off, you're still kind of going, "What am I watching? This is." I can't. It's hard to describe. It really is.
My brain was off during Indiana Jones 4, and I still walked out. I'm just saying, I was a lot younger, and my brain was off. And
I'm with you.
Nope. To McDonald's, like.
Hopefully, since we're still on the DC train, did we all see the Birds of Prey trailer?
Yes.
Okay. The teaser thing with it is that what you're talking about? Yeah. Or is there an actual trailer?
Well,
no, the teaser.
Okay. That's it.
It's too little for me to decide.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, it was too little. I
can't shit on it or like it because it's too little.
I'm not liking the posters for it. I can tell you that.
I feel like it's the same thing as Suicide Squad.
That's Suicide Squad, right? I'm with you. I'm with you because you see Huntress and Black Canary, and I look at them, I'm like, they just look like a bunch of like Hot Topic cosplayers.
Yeah, and I got that from the poster as well.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
and I'm like, why is Ewan McGregor like not in a black mask? Why is he just? He looks like a club owner.
Yep.
He looks like a mob guy. I mean, that's it.
Is he gonna wear the mask?
I have no idea.
Supposedly in one scene.
In one scene, and I hope the plot is fake.
Is that for real? A dick pic or whatever?
The thing about like that he's after the Orphan.
No, that he's after. They have dick pics.
They like hacked something and they accidentally came across a dick pic or some bullshit like that.
Get the fuck out of here!
It's been running for a while.
I foresee another movie where Joe walks out of.
I'm not going to see this movie. I'm going to see it on play.
Okay.
I refuse to pay for DC movies. No, I'll go.
Dude, what a big fuck you to fans if the plot revolves around dick pics.
And him not wearing his mask. Sionis just walking around like, hey, I'm Sionis.
And an agenda being pushed with Black Mask being gay and all that stuff. Like,
oh my God. You can tell Hugh McGregor's going to go through this role like, you just get through this to get to Obi-Wan. Get through this. Just get through this one. Obi-Wan's coming. Yeah. Just get through this movie.
At least, I was going to say, like, the girls look fine, but at the same time, I was like, I think they look kind of silly. Yeah. They look like what I just said. Like, they look like Hot Topic cosplayers.
They do. I just want the characters to be represented. The story to be good.
On the board of Warner Bros.?
Well, that Suicide Squad music video was playing a lot when that movie was coming out in Hot Topic every time I walked in. I don't know. We'll see.
What did you think, Justin? Before we all shit on him.
I didn't see enough to make a decision one way or another. I was like, this is all we get? Fuck this. I'll wait until I see something worth substantial before I even say anything.
You could cut. Where's the trailer?
That movie's coming out 2020, right?
But the movie's finished.
Is it?
I heard it's finished.
Damn.
No, excuse me. Wonder Woman's finished. And we
Yes.
still don't have Wonder Woman.
Bro, we don't even have a teaser for that.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Bro, what is going on with that? That's true. Well, you know what? They might be saving everything for New York Comic Con.
Maybe.
I don't know why New York is versus San Diego.
I don't know, yeah.
But
because they figured Marvel will dominate San Diego.
Which is true.
which they did.
God damn it, man. Those panels. I probably won't get into them, but whatever. At least we'll have the news coming up.
At least.
What, you're trying for the New York one?
He's going.
Well, I put in like 3 months ago. I put in press pass, and I got approved for all 4 days.
Nice.
So I'm gonna go, but I can just imagine how much of a fucking hassle it's gonna be.
Oh yeah, the panels are gonna be
get
crazy.
into the panels. Get into
That's
the,
like overnight shit
yeah.
right there.
I know. I've seen the goddamn videos of people saving a spot Sunday to get into Hall H on fucking on Wednesday to get into like Saturday or Sunday.
That's
during
crazy.
D23 for D23 they used to let them camp out, but like inside the convention area, like in the basement area, so that they're not outside in the weather. But and there's a nice place for them. And then people were going through and fucking it up, and they kicked them all out.
Of course, because people are idiots.
Yeah,
they ruin everything. So
correct.
Yeah,
this is why we can't have nice things.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
People are stupid.
That's
we can't all now they're all camping out on outdoors, and more people are going to start doing it. And I was like, no, we can't let them in there. Fuck them. They got to stand outside.
Yep.
So, and it's New York Comic Con,
Yeah.
so you're going to be standing outside with the New Yorkers. So
Is it Wonder Woman before Suicide?
Yeah, supposedly.
It should be.
And Birds of Prey.
Birds of Prey is February.
So Birds of Prey is after
First.
Joker, then Birds, then.
Birds of Prey is
So we should already have a Birds
February
of
7th of next year.
And Wonder Woman is June. June or May. I don't remember.
June.
Yeah, summer.
Yeah, but that got pushed. That was actually supposed to come out at the end of this year. It got pushed to the
That I remember.
Yeah, that was supposed to. Wonder Woman was supposed to come out in like November of this year, and it got pushed for some reason. I can't remember why. It was something stupid. I know that.
Probably. It's the same show with Aquaman.
And here's the thing: I know you really like that poster, but that poster really doesn't do it for me. That Wonder Woman poster that they
They did
came
it for
out.
a lot, man. It was all over Twitter. It was crazy.
I saw that and I was like, "Is this a joke?" Because
The Birds of Prey is a joke.
I think I briefly saw it in the movie theaters, like walking by. I saw the poster. Yep, that's the poster.
I looked at that. I was like, it to me, it says disco roller derby.
Right.
That's what it looks like to me. It's like 70s disco roller derby, and it's supposed to be 1984.
1984.
Yeah. So
did they name it on purpose, like Big Brother style? Like what's the
it's Wonder Woman 1984. The only thing this movie has got going for me now, because we know nothing about it, so the only thing that's drawing me to this movie is Pedro Pascal's in it.
Okay.
Looking nothing like himself.
Yeah.
Wait, what role is he playing?
They don't have a name for him.
No, there was a rumor. Oh, man.
I like him a lot, man.
I don't remember.
Well, the fact that he's the Mandalorian is,
Yeah, that's really cool, too.
Hey, that's soon, man. Less than 2 months.
Already got my subscription.
What? Oh, for D? Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you do it through Hulu?
Yeah, you're going to be able to do it. Well, you're going to be able to get a package with it.
Yeah.
You have Hulu.
Yeah, I'm just going to do that. Oh, what the hell? Oh, man.
Looks nothing like that.
No, yeah.
They're all shaved. Golden hair.
Yeah.
So the DC future is dark and grim.
I love how people like every time somebody says, well, they have nothing coming out, and then they love to release that huge list of all the little tiny things DC's got coming out. They go, oh, this, what are you talking about? I was like, nobody cares about that little shit.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, and then to Joe's point, it's like, we haven't seen any footage for a ton of crap.
For shit, as much shit as they get, they should be, hey, look.
Yeah, it's
We're
like, hey, don't
improving.
worry, we got something.
Show me you're improved now.
If you're not putting shit out, you should be at least advertising your shit.
Yeah.
Look at the Joker. Okay, that's fine,
Well,
but you have other shit.
We got Warner Brothers did pick up Abrams. That was some news that we did get. They did sign Abrams. Did Bad Robot? Did
But
sign
there was
a deal.
already a summary of what they're intending to do, and none of it said anything
I
about
didn't
DC.
see the summary.
Right. His own
No, it was just he wants to do his own stuff, the video game stuff, TV shows, but it said everything original. It didn't say anything about IPs.
Wow. So there you go. That was the one hope we had, was that Abrams was going to come in and take over. Because they're still trying to sell... We Got It Covered is still trying to sell the James Gunn, J.J. Abrams are going to take over the DCEU. So it's like, no.
I don't think that's happening.
No, Disney got him back for Guardians, and they're going to keep him there.
Did you hear the rumor that Apple's going to buy Sony?
I mean, they do need something for a library.
Supposedly, there's a rumor that started earlier this week that Apple was going to buy Sony, and when they buy Sony, they were going to give Spider-Man back to Disney.
No.
No, they're pissed. Iger walked out of the Apple board, so they're probably, fuck you, Iger, I'm going to take Spider-Man from you.
Right, they would keep it. They wouldn't sell it.
They wouldn't give him.
And
they want that money.
And again, to make
There's so
Apple
many...
TV Plus make sense, they need a backlog.
No.
They need a library.
No. If Apple buys Sony, it goes back to Marvel.
Oh, really?
It cannot transfer.
Oh, there we go.
It cannot
There we
transfer.
go.
Oof.
It reverts back.
Yeah.
There's in the law, it says if another company buys it, it reverts back.
That's what they're talking about.
I like that.
It cannot convert.
What a cool loophole.
So yeah, go ahead, Apple, buy it.
Yeah, buy them.
Go ahead, bro.
Well, there was the other rumor that was started this week that said that Sony said, yeah, we'll give you Spider-Man back $10 billion.
Yeah. That was funny.
How did y'all pay it?
For Spider-Man?
For Spider-Man? Get the fuck out of here.
No. I'm a big Spider-Man fan, but $10 billion for one, it just doesn't make sense on a business level.
Not one character. You're getting all those characters back.
Still.
The villains.
But the main character, Spider-Man.
Correct. But you still get all those villains back.
Still, man.
We're
what?
For a movie...
For the Spider-Man name franchise, we're on what?
10 billion?
The 6th or 7th movie, and it only just finally now reached $2 billion?
Yeah. On
That's
top of
crazy.
which, all the merchandise they get anyway, because they own the Marvel merchandising. So
but they can use
all they're
as
buying,
they want.
all they're buying is the TV and movie rights back. It just doesn't make business sense.
Joe, is that we care more about that than Disney does?
Dude, I'm all for it. If they want to spend $10 billion to get Spider-Man back, please pay it. I'm all for it. But at the end of the day, I'm going to go, that's just a stupid deal.
Yeah.
It's great for me,
7. But yo, take 7.
That's like you overpaying on a car that's already used.
Anything billion-wise, I think is...
And when the price tag didn't warrant it.
6,000. I'll give you 12. Okay.
Right? No, go more. $120,000 for a $6,000 car. That's like a 5,000 miles in already.
I once saw my father used to still does actually watch the Barrett Jackson auto auction. You know what that is? Where they auction off antique cars.
Antique car, right? I've seen
15 years ago, before Pontiac went under, Pontiac had reintroduced the GTO. They introduced the new modern GTO.
Okay.
They put one up for auction at the Barrett, like one of the last things they did at the Barrett Jackson auction. The car retailed for like $31,000. The car sold at the Barrett Jackson auction for $46,000. It's like, you could go buy one off the lot right now, fully loaded, for less than that, and you're buying one.
Listen, bro.
That's essentially what Joe just described.
I would pay it.
Look, if they got the money to burn, I'm just saying it doesn't make much business sense, because the first movie didn't break $1 billion.
Yeah, it doesn't.
And the second one just did break $1 billion. It's the first one to do it. So to pay $10 billion for what is essentially a $2 billion earning character right now.
I mean, with the risk of sounding stupid, is Sony even worth $10 billion?
It's not even. They're not even buying Sony. They're just
I
buying.
understand that. That's what I'm saying. Like,
Right. Is the company as a whole worth it? I'm not sure.
Like, no, I don't think so.
Yeah,
we went through their franchises that weren't very.
The PlayStation.
Yeah, but that's one thing.
That's separate though. That's not. We're not. That's that studio. That's separate.
Okay. Well then, no. Yeah, for $5 billion.
Because remember, Sony before was Columbia Pictures.
Correct. Yeah.
And then they got folded in.
Go ahead, Apple. Do it.
Yeah.
Buy Sony.
That I'd like to see more. I would like to see Apple buy it just for the content to go on to Apple Plus or Apple.
Wait, what content would they be getting from?
Well,
Sony?
they get all the Sony's back.
Oh yeah, all the backlog. Because that's exactly what.
Look, it doesn't need to be good. It just needs to be backlog.
Yeah, Apple TV Plus right now doesn't have shit.
Except their original stuff.
Right, but
they're like, it's coming.
All that has is people's some interest. You got me? Like, it's not. I don't think it's enough to warrant.
No, I agree.
A huge number of subscribers.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's why they're giving away the first year free.
Like, wink, it's coming. All these shows are coming. What shows?
With that, we should end it there. I gotta go.
All right.
You too, Joe.
I gotta go.
You have to go to bed.
Exactly.
So I won't mention the last thing until next week. The Jurassic Park short.
I watched it. It was pretty good.
I haven't seen it, and I believe George wanted to see it too. So
we'll mention it. It was actually really good. It was actually good.
I'll send it to you.
All right, so tune in next week. We'll continue. We'll get back on track with more of our format. This was kind of just bringing us all back in together because we've been gone for a couple of weeks. We're on all social media. We're on all podcasts. Road Nation Pod. Give us a like. Let us know what you think. Like us, hate us. We don't care. Just tell us what you think. Tell us what we need to be talking about.
Should you plug your channel or no? You're done.
I'm not done.
I
took a break.
He's retired.
And next week we'll try to put together a little bit on the D23 theme park news. We'll try to get back into that so we can talk about it because I know we promised we'd talk about that. Yeah, and we'll have a review next week of next episode of Carnage and the next issue of X-Men. So tune in for that. And until then,
rogue out.
Good night. Why do you hate that?